Chevy Chase may be a comedic legend, but not everyone in Hollywood shares the love. From behind-the-scenes drama to public feuds, some actors have made it clear that they aren't fans of the iconic comedian. Here's the list of actors who vehemently hate Chevy Chase. 1. The whole SNL cast and crew. Chevy Chase's tenure on Saturday Night Live was marked by sharp humor and a high-energy presence, but not everyone in the SNL universe was a fan. During his time on the inaugural season of Saturday Night Live, SNL, Chevy Chase earned a reputation as a master of cutting criticism. He had a notorious ability to zero in on his colleagues' insecurities, be it a blemish, a physical anomaly, or any small flaw, and exploit them to belittle others. His knack for these cruel putdowns made him a formidable presence in the cast. In staff meetings, Chase was known for his dismissive attitude towards the writers' ideas. He would often smirk and openly criticize their suggestions, making it clear that he thought their contributions were subpar. As SNL's success grew, so did Chase's career. However, his rising fame also brought accusations from his castmates and crew that he was not crediting their efforts during interviews. Reports from the time suggest that Chase was heavily involved with cocaine use, and his behavior on set was marked by a brash display of his own celebrity status. He often flaunted his fame and exerted a domineering influence over those around him. 2. Lorne Michaels. Lorne Michaels, the mastermind behind Saturday Night Live, is known for his careful control of the show's creative direction. But behind the scenes, his relationship with Chevy Chase was anything but smooth. Lorne Michaels and Chevy Chase were once close friends, but their relationship took a drastic turn when Chase abruptly decided to leave Saturday Night Live, SNL, at the end of his contract. Without any prior warning, Chase opted to pursue a series of primetime specials for NBC, a move that caught many off guard. This decision not only strained his friendship with Michaels, but also led to the severing of ties with his manager Bernie Brillstein, who also represented Michaels. After this split, Chase signed with the William Morris Agency. The suddenness and secrecy surrounding Chase's departure left a bitter taste among the SNL staff. 3. Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson was the king of late-night television, and Chevy Chase's antics rubbed the legendary host the wrong way. Chevy Chase once addressed rumors about him possibly replacing Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show by dismissing the idea in a rather blunt manner. In an interview with New York Magazine, Chase made it clear that he had no interest in being tied down for several years to a job that involved interviewing TV personalities. His remark was sharp, reflecting his disdain for the notion of hosting a late-night talk show. Johnny didn't take Chase's comment lightly. In response, Carson quipped that Chase couldn't ad-lib a fart, even after a baked bean dinner, a biting retort that highlighted Carson's opinion of Chase's improvisational skills. Though it's intriguing to imagine what The Tonight Show might have been like with Chase as the host, the truth is that he was never seriously considered for the role. Despite the buzz and speculation, the idea of Chase taking over Carson's iconic position was more rumor than reality, with Carson's sharp response putting an end to the speculation. 4. Bill Murray. Bill Murray and Chevy Chase were once comedy colleagues on Saturday Night Live. The tension between Bill and Chevy reached its peak in 1978, stemming from a long-standing rivalry that began during their days at National Lampoon. When Chase, who had left Saturday Night Live, SNL, earlier that year under contentious circumstances, returned as a guest host, it reignited old animosities. Murray, who had been brought in to replace Chase, wasn't pleased to see him back. In a heated exchange, Murray bluntly told Chase that everyone on the show hated him. Chase, known for his sharp tongue, retaliated by mocking Murray's pockmarked face, comparing it to the moon's surface, a cruel jab meant to wound. Murray responded with an offhand remark about Chase's wife, Jacqueline Carlin, which further inflamed the situation. Chase, not one to back down, sought out Murray in John Belushi's dressing room just before the show was set to air, challenging him to a fight. The confrontation quickly turned physical, with the two trading blows until Belushi intervened. 5. Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. is known for his charm and versatility, but even he had his share of conflicts in Hollywood. As said before, Chevy Chase returned to Saturday Night Live in 1985 as a guest host, and during his stint, he quickly alienated much of the cast and crew. One of the most notable incidents involved Robert Downey Jr., who was part of the show's cast at the time. Chase crossed a line when he made a tasteless joke about Downey's father. He began by asking what had happened to Downey Sr. before insensitively mocking the fact that he had passed away. Chase took it a step further by suggesting that Downey Sr. had likely gone to hell. This callous remark deeply offended Robert Downey Jr., who was understandably upset by the disrespectful and insensitive comment. The incident with Downey Jr. became another example of how Chase's humor often strayed into hurtful territory, alienating those around him. 6. Terry Sweeney. Terry Sweeney, Saturday Night Live's (SNL) first openly gay cast member, found himself the target of Chevy Chase's insensitivity during Chase's 1985 hosting stint. Chase made a shockingly offensive suggestion during a meeting, proposing a sketch where Sweeney would be weighed each week to see if he had contracted HIV. This cruel moment, reflecting the stigma and fear surrounding HIV/AIDS at the time, understandably outraged Sweeney. The network executives, recognizing the gravity of Chase's remark, demanded that he apologize to Sweeney. Reluctantly, Chase visited Sweeney's office to offer a forced apology. According to Sweeney, Chase was visibly angry about having to admit he was wrong and apologize. The incident left a lasting impact, highlighting Chase's tendency to cross lines with his humor and his resistance to owning up to his mistakes. Sweeney's experience is a stark reminder of the challenges faced by LGBTQ+ individuals in the entertainment industry, particularly during a time when homophobia and ignorance were widespread. 7. Howard Stern. Howard Stern has never been shy about expressing his opinions, especially when it comes to Chevy Chase. In 1992, Chevy Chase found himself in hot water after making disparaging remarks about Howard Stern during a commercial break on Larry King's talk show, unaware that he was being recorded. When Stern obtained the tape, he wasted no time playing it live on his radio show, then called up Chase to confront him. In response, Chase tersely told Stern to never contact him again. The feud didn't end there. A few years later, Stern and comedian Richard Belzer managed to anger Chase again by repeatedly calling him at 5 a.m. Despite the ongoing animosity, the two eventually patched things up to some extent, with Chase even receiving an invitation to Stern's wedding. However, at the wedding, Chase gave a wildly inappropriate toast, which only served to rekindle Stern's disdain for him. 8. Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith didn't hold back when it came to Chevy Chase. In 1997, Kevin Smith met with Chevy Chase to discuss a potential reboot of the Fletch series, a project that had generated significant interest. However, according to Smith, the meeting quickly turned into a disaster. As they sat down for a meal, Chase reportedly launched into a bizarre and arrogant monologue, claiming that he was responsible for inventing every funny thing that had ever happened, not just in comedy, but throughout the entire known universe. Smith found Chase's extreme arrogance infuriating and was so put off by the encounter that he decided to cancel any plans to collaborate with Chase in the future. The meeting left a sour taste, and Smith walked away from the project altogether. In response, Chase later accused Smith of lying about the incident, further straining their already tense relationship. This failed collaboration added to the growing list of Hollywood figures who found working with Chase to be a challenging, if not impossible, task due to his difficult personality. 9. Rob Huebel. Rob Huebel didn't mince words when it came to Chevy Chase. Huebel, who has often spoken candidly about the challenges of working with Chase, has openly criticized the actor's behavior and attitude. The comedian once described himself as the biggest Chevy Chase fan in the world, so when he had the opportunity to meet his idol backstage at the UCB theater, he was eager to introduce himself. However, the encounter took an unexpected turn when Chase, instead of friendly greeting, slapped Hubel across the face, hard enough that Hubel described it as offensively hard. Chase later claimed that the slap was meant as a joke and done in good humor, as he explained to New York Magazine. Despite the shock of the situation, Hubel took it in stride, insisting that he wasn't offended by the slap. Nevertheless, the incident left a lasting impression on Hubel, who found it both surprising and unforgettable. The encounter highlights the unpredictable and sometimes abrasive nature of Chase's humor, which could catch even his biggest fans off guard. 10. Dan Harmon. You see, SNL wasn't the only show Chevy Chase stayed for long. Chase's time on Community became infamous for the ongoing conflicts with cast and crew members. Dan Harmon, the creator of Community, is known for his own abrasive personality, which contributed to a very public feud with Chevy Chase. The friction between them became one of the most talked about aspects of the show's behind-the-scenes drama. Harmon's character, Pierce Hawthorne, bears a striking resemblance to Chase himself. Both are portrayed as old, grumpy, out of touch, egotistical, and bigoted individuals who end up alienating those around them. The tension between Harmon and Chase came to a head during a party where Harmon insulted Chase in front of his wife and daughter. The situation worsened when Harmon leaked an obscene and ridiculous voicemail that Chase had left him. This act of public humiliation further fueled the conflict, making it clear that their professional relationship had deteriorated. Despite Harmon's eventual apology, the feud had lasting consequences. Chase decided to leave Community after the 4th season, effectively ending their rocky collaboration. The clash between these two strong personalities highlighted the challenges of managing creative differences and personal conflicts in the high-pressure environment of television production. 11. Donald Glover. What about Chase's younger castmates? Well, most of them despised him, but this next actor stood out the most. Actors who vehemently hate Chevy Chase. Donald Glover, who played Troy Barnes on Community for 5 seasons, experienced significant tension with Chevy Chase during his time on the show. He found himself at odds with Chase's unpredictable behavior. According to Glover, Chase frequently made racist jokes between takes and deliberately tried to undermine his scenes. Chase reportedly told Glover that people only found him funny because of his race, a comment that was both harmful and demeaning. Dan Harmon, the show's creator, attributed Chase's behavior to jealousy, suggesting that Chase was envious of Glover's talent and success. Harmon believed that Chase was struggling to come to terms with his own declining career and was lashing out as a result. In an interview with The New Yorker, Glover reflected on Chase's behavior, describing him as a once great figure clinging to past glory and unable to accept that his prime had passed. Despite the unwarranted remarks and the attempts to undermine him, Glover didn't let Chase's negativity affect him. He saw Chase's actions as a futile attempt to fight against the inevitability of aging and insecurity about the future. If you liked this video, don't forget to share and subscribe. Also, let us know in the comments who surprised you in this list of actors who vehemently hate Chevy Chase.